Yo, what's up? It's your girl, Pretty Riot, and I'm sitting pretty starting riots right here on iLLANOiZE Radio. And every single week, you come and you watch these great interviews, and you still ain't subscribed. What are you doing? Hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on too.
This is iLLANOiZE Radio with Biko, iLLANOiZE Jones, and Pretty Riot going down right now.
Walking world, walking world, walking world, walking world. You're tuned in to iLLANOiZE Radio, Chicago's most valuable radio show. I'm your host, Biko, alongside Pretty Riot, Illinois Jones. And man, before we even got into things, y'all heard a classic, one of my favorites from the great Kanye West with Jesus Walks. And what you don't know is there's a voice on there. I mean, man, this lady has been doing some phenomenal things. I got a chance to check her out out in Atlanta, my second city, not too long ago. Hey. She goes by the name of Tarrey Torae.
Usually I do that. That's what's so funny. I'm usually the
Grammy Award winning at that. And you know, like I was saying before we started things, that you know, Jesus Walks was a great song for that helped. I'm gonna just say that pretty much put me in tune with Kanye. That, of course, Through the Wire, and then, you know, learning that you were also part of that classical hit. It's like, damn, you've been grinding for some years.
Long time.
Long
time. Me love music long time.
Yes. I mean, how long, for those that may not know, because it's been some time.
So I've been singing in the shower my whole life. I am a shower singer turned professional shower singer. But I had my first public professional performance. My first public professional performance was on January 27th of 1999.
Yeah.
I think I seen a YouTube video. It was like Showtime at the Apollo, and I think it said like you was like a 6-time winner.
Yes, I am a 6-time Showtime at the Apollo winner.
Was that intimidating to do Showtime at the Apollo?
Oh, yes, because the theater is not as big as some theaters. But when you walk into the Apollo, first of all, you got to remember, people are practicing how to boo. They go in their mirror, and I know for a fact they are in the mirror going boo, 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 boo. Like they going, yeah, they got the boo, boo, boo. They ready to boo you. When I walked out there, there's 3 tiers, or maybe it's 2 tiers up, and then one main floor. But it's a narrow theater, and when you look up, it looks like you're looking at the Sears Tower, full of black people, boo, ready to boo, and very, very, very motivated to boo. And so when I walked out there, I knew, because the first 2 people that went up before me, all of them got booed off. And here come the Sandman. Yeah. And I looked at him and I was like, not today.
Period. You
ain't coming for me today. But when I got out there, I wore something that I don't think the ladies appreciated. Now, back in the day, it was a thing. Either you was in like Lil' Kim, or you was real super like good girl.
So what, you Little Kim did?
I went in between. I was showing a lot of leg, and I had on a tight skirt, and then the ladies started booing immediately. Hadn't even sang one.
Oh, because of your outfit.
They would say they like damn,
they
pretty.
They had their man there.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, they had their man there.
Something. But the dudes started clapping. But I found the one lady booer that was booing the loudest, and I walked to the edge of the stage, and I gave her a little Chicago. And I just stared her down, and I started my song and just stared at her like, I'm watching you. I got
You
your
should
number.
start to serenade her. Like, I'm gonna make you.
And you can see her boo go from boo to
Ooh.
Oh, she can sing. She can sing.
But she just sat on back down, and she let me roll. And before I know it, at the end of that performance, I had a standing ovation.
How
amazing.
is that? Knowing being from Chicago, the Apollo was a thing to watch.
Yes.
And now you on there in front of millions of people.
Yeah.
On that stage, and to win it 6 times.
Not one.
Not once, but 6
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Like, how did that feeling, like, just going up there to win? Like, dang, I ain't been booed.
I haven't been booed. But so I didn't get booed on the 7 appearances that I made. The last appearance, now y'all know I'm married to a poet. But I got beat by a poet on my 7th appearance.
Oh,
how it felt was, for me, I was a little girl in the mirror with the hairbrush as my mic. And I would be singing. imitating the people I saw on the Apollo.
Right.
So for me, it was like living one of my dreams out. It was like, okay, I'm doing this. Okay, I'm actually really doing it. Then the next time, can you believe I'm doing this? And then when you get a check in the mail from the Winds, because that's what people don't know. I didn't even know that.
I was today years old.
Yeah. No, I was negative today. I was so many today years old. I was like, what? When the check came in the mail, and I was a struggling singing artist. Didn't have a whole lot of resources at the time. And the checks was coming, and I was like, huh. I guess I could do this a little bit more.
I think I'm going back.
Right. So the good thing was that I was living out one of my dreams. I was also getting some winning prize money, and I was able to touch people out in the world that I would have never touched had I not touched the Apollo stage.
Did that open up any doors for you doing an Apollo?
Well, at the time, Monique, the comedian, was the host, and there was a couple of other filler comedians, so she didn't host every time.
Right.
And then at the time, also, Susan DePaz was also very much in play. I think she was the executive producer of the show at the time. And so she was backstage, and I had an opportunity to meet her, and she told me, you go on places. So I would meet the main acts that would come out, like New Edition did one of the shows, and I wanted to, who was the next one? It was so many celebrities that came out there. So I got to meet each person, and Monique gave me a whole lot of advice. So at the time, that was like, that's gold.
Yeah,
and then
she was popping.
Susan DePaz, everybody knows that's who discovered Michael Jackson. She gave me you have your own confidence, but when a person like Susan DePaz says to you, you got it. She said, I know a lot of people, and I know you got it. And I was like, huh.
You just got to go to touch.
Well, all right.
So before Susan DePaz even told you that, did you feel you had it?
I told y'all I was in the shower singing to stadiums. So in my head, the shower singing was telling me, I knew what I felt in my gut. I know my God sense was saying, this is your path. This is what you're supposed to do. These are your marching orders. But before that, you just roll with what feels good. So I was rolling because it felt good, and I'm kind of one of those people that once you tell me I can't do something,
now I'm finna prove you wrong.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck, baby.
Now, before we jump into this music break, I gotta know too. Do you still keep in touch, like with Monique and Susan DePaz at all?
No.
Oh.
No, it's no fantasy world with that. These folk are busy, and once you have them, you got to use those moments for what they exist for. And people graduate in your life and they graduate out. So I believe they were in my life at those moments to give me information. Now I did reach out. Hadn't heard back yet, because I'm still positive, y'all. Back yet.
You
so,
go.
So we know that there is a moment where we'll have another conclusion.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
You know how you have different ends to the book or to the movie that you can choose?
Oh, alternate endings.
There you go.
That's what Power should have had.
There's so many. Power definitely should have had.
That was a real leak.
So good, though. It's so good. I think they're going to bring, I hear they're going to bring
Ghost
back.
To be honest, I don't think Ghost is dead. Because I feel like in the writing, they talk about Ghost as if he's still alive.
Yeah.
That, and I feel like they got so many doors they can come back to pulling them back in. But that's not
hopefully we can see you in time.
We can get Amari Hardwick to give us some tips. And so he on J.I.B. album.
Yes. Didn't know he did.
He is a poet, and you know it.
That's
dope.
So now we need to bring him on here to get some tips on Power.
For real.
Right.
Look, y'all don't go nowhere. We have Torae in the building. I'm gonna just say your last name.
That's
you
fine.
know what I'm saying?
I like Torae.
And y'all don't go nowhere because we got a great conversation loaded up.
Yo, what's up? It's your girl, Pretty Riot, and I'm sitting pretty, starting riots right here on Illinois.
I'm gonna let you finish, but did you tell them to listen to iLLANOiZE Radio?
Every Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Well, I was getting to that, but y'all made a point, so I hope y'all tune in.
Do that.
Wow.
I kind of have some questions, because one of the things that popped in my head when you were talking about meeting Monique and Susan DePaz, it made me think about external validation for artists.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's necessary at a certain point to get external validation from other people?
I mean, you don't need it, but I think it's necessary to the chemistry of how we work as humans. Because to me, like say for instance the Grammys. The whole point of the Grammys is for your peers to vote on you, to decide who's the best of this year's movement. And for me, external validation it's just affirmation. It's just confirmation, and it also is community. And I think it's important. I think that if I could put a chemistry pattern to this thing, is without human contact, and it's the same thing without peer recognition or without people seeing and feeling what you do. You don't do it just to feel it yourself. You do it because you're giving the gift that you were given. And so for it to have external validation, I think is necessary and mandatory. And if it never comes, you don't need it.
Right.
But it definitely, I think it aids and supports motivation.
Yeah, because I think especially now with social media, I think I actually love what you just said, because I think it's also necessary to have that balance of internal and external, because you have to know if your peers like it, like you said, if it's worth it, but it's also you do need to affirm yourself. Yes. And I think with social media, that makes it so much harder to do so. Yeah. Considering you really started your career pretty much before the birth of social media, did you find it hard to kind of adjust to how the music industry is moving now that it's a lot different? You started when they were selling CDs and stuff. Now everything's digital. So how did you adjust to that?
My adjustment to social media was it was a challenge, but it wasn't impossible. At first there was that MySpace. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we had MySpace. And
had your song on your profile page.
But I had a whole song catalog up there. I had my followers. It was popping. I left messages for people to follow me. Had an email address up there for booking. Everything was rolling, and then it crashed. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. Then here come Facebook. Mm-hmm. Here come YouTube. YouTube, I think, was even before Facebook, right? And then after Facebook, then
the Twitters and the
Twitter,
Instagrams.
But the Instagram, that's where I kind of think I found my rhythm. I was doing good on Facebook, but I had too many pages, so I was just doing too much. I had to find my rhythm. Kanye was probably the first person I saw using social media. He's the one that made me set up my MySpace page.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was like, "You need to do that right now, Tarrey." I was like, "For what?" He was like, "Cause it's gonna be important. It's marketing." And I was like, "Yeah, well, why would I do that?" I was like, "That's just double work. I'm out here working 12 hours a day, selling CDs, doing shows." I was like, "I don't want to add yet another task." Mm-hmm. He's like, "I'm telling you, you're gonna need that 24-hour marketing." Mm-hmm. Now, there's another young man in my life, in my husband's life, and on our team. His name is Eugene Bush, and he's E-Tray Productions. He's we call him the content king, or the king of content. This guy, his philosophy is, do you ever see Coca-Cola take a break?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, if you consider yourself a business, an operation, you don't take a break. You find a way to use the social media to your advantage to continuously market. There's people woke at 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in the morning. So your constant movement, even if it's just that you posting once or twice a day, you put that up so that your brand is constantly being represented on a 24-hour basis. So to me, the adjustment was one thing. I came into it slow, but now that I'm here, good luck getting me to slow down. It's fun too.
And I love how you were marketing this product right here. With the matter of fact, let me take this out.
Hey,
wait, because can I say something about the product?
Go ahead.
Okay, go. I need you to put the camera on me. Okay.
Yeah, don't forget your travel bag.
Okay, right. Look, he done took his out the. Let me see that. You got the candle or the body butter?
You got to smell. That's the for him.
Candle.
That's the for him.
Oh, that's
candle.
the candle. Okay, no, I don't want to talk about the candle. This right here, I'm trying to take it off without it looking crazy.
No, you good.
This right here. Okay, y'all. I got eczema, and this just moisturized TF out of my hand right now. I'm ready to put this over my whole body. Go get you some of it. You better come get you some of these.
Yeah.
I mean, let people know how they can, grab the Catch Feelings Artist Box. You know,
yes, the Catching Feelings Artist Box it has variations. So we have the Catching Feelings for her, and we have the Catching Feelings for him.
Catching.
There is Catching Feelings for him and her candles, shea butter. Then of course for everybody there are wine glasses with you can sip, or stemless wine glasses where you can sip your favorite beverage out of it. Don't have to be wine, but whatever you decide to put in it, that's cute, or whatever you want. Even if you just want some orange juice, put it in the Catching Feelings glass. There's also a t-shirt, a music box, and there is a velvet travel bag for your accessories. That was one of the things that I love the most about the Catching Feelings bag or box, is that when I travel, getting my accessories into one area is always the goal in a suitcase. And now you have a velvet. It's kind of like the Crown Royal bag. But
It's the Crown. It's
definitely the Crown Royal bag. But I love the Crown Royal bag. Yeah. You could do so much with them. You could save pennies in them. You know, save change. You know, that's a Chicago thing.
I didn't repurpose so many.
We use that Crown Royal bag. This Catch and Feelings bag, the travel accessory bag. You can put all your accessories in there and travel the world and get yourself organized so fast, and you just have that bag ready to go and visit a country every 3 months and you good to go.
You catch it, don't fumble it.
Gave something that's functional too. Like, it's one thing to just have t-shirts as merch, but you gave a body butter, a candle, a glass, and like you said, this is functional. Like, it's not just cute and it's not just something that's nice. Like, I can actually use that, and I think that's so intentional. It's so dope.
Oh, and the candles and the shea butter are handmade.
All up.
And the scents are, the 4 men scents are the depths of the foam of the ocean. The water scents are in the woman bag. So we are getting some scents and some aromatherapy out of the bag too. Let's go.
So, okay, because I like to know about processes. What? So did you have your hand in actually creating, making it? Did you make this yourself, or you got a team that did that?
So we had a team,
okay.
But we went around. We did all the scent smells. We took coffee beans with us. We chose the scents. We chose the feel of the shea butter. We chose the candle. The candle was a soy candle. There's no chemicals in it. Everything is natural. Ain't nothing in this product that's gonna hurt you. Now I will say this: there is fragrance. But it's the oil fragrance that's natural. So hopefully it make everybody feel better.
Is your business struggling? Trying to get your followers up? No problem. You can advertise with us right now. Tap that link above. Now let's get back to the show.
I was doing my research, my due diligence, and doing my research. Like Lil Reese say, I was doing my research.
That's his word.
I was doing my research, and man, people praise your talent heavy. Stevie Wonder, El DeBarge, Patti LaBelle.
Patti LaBelle, yeah.
You are these ain't no regular folks,
right?
No.
To say you that thing. Stevie Wonder can't even see, but he can hear your voice and distinguish and say who that is.
He did.
How does that make you feel coming from Chicago, from slanging CDs, and now you got these folks saying your name and they knowing who you are?
You know, blessed. I feel blessed. I feel like I'm walking in my marching orders. I'm walking in down my path. I'm sticking to what I was supposed to be doing. It's my passion. And like I said earlier, when we talked about external affirmations or validation, to me, those are giants. And those giants, those superheroes, those masterful, iconic people saying anything to me, breathing in my direction, was such a blessing and such a another level of motivation. It made me know to keep going.
What was it like being in a room with Patti and Stevie?
Man, well, Patti is like being with your favorite auntie.
Did you get a pie? No.
Actually, no, I didn't get a pie. But we were at BB King's in New York, and we were doing a show. Alicia Keys' record label was throwing showcases, and they would have a major act come, and then they would have an up-and-coming act. And I happened to be the up-and-coming act the night for the Patti LaBelle performance. And so she came, and she was sitting across from me. So the first thing that happened, she asked me for some lotion. She said, "Baby, you got some lotion?" And I was like, "Huh?" And I looked over, and Jay was like, "Tarrey, she's asking you a question." I was like, "Oh, yes, ma'am." I was stuck though when she said something. Cause I said, "Is Patti LaBelle talking to me?"
Asking me for some lotion.
She asked me for lotion. Hey. I pulled my lotion. I had a little bottle from the hotel. You got a little miniature bottle, and I had it in my little purse. I pulled it. I said, "Yes, ma'am. Oh, anytime." I said, "Here you go." She said, "Thank you." She took a squirt. She gave it back to me. She rubbed her hands, and then she did this, and then she said, "All right, thank you so much, baby. I appreciate you," because I was over here looking like I was digging in the flowers. So she said something to that. It was, I don't know the exact word, but she was letting me know.
She was ashy.
Little ashy.
Yeah. See, me
she was taking care of it.
personally,
Like
if
I
somebody
was when I came in here, I just said,
if somebody asking for lotion or gum, the first thing I do is check my
right,
arms.
because you like, wait a minute.
Like,
hold
I
on,
would
let
have
me-
kept that lotion. Like, no, I ain't using this lotion no
I
more.
would put
This
that-
Patti lotion right here.
Man, I was so happy that she just even asked me for anything. But then, so I went up on stage and I was the opening act, so I go up and I perform. And when I came off, she was at the edge of the side of the stage because she was next. And she said to me, she said, baby, you sound good. She said, you going places. She said, I'm so happy I got to see you do your thing tonight. You sound good. And she just kept saying it. Just your favorite auntie, just giving you a compliment.
That's dope.
She's favorite auntie / giant / superhero / R&B icon.
Yeah.
And for me, that was so fulfilling.
I
I
bet.
just walked off the stage. My cheeks was hurting. I was smiling. Jay said, "What she say to you?" And I told him. He was like, "Oh, that's crazy."
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Now,
Yeah.
I want to actually take us back some because we didn't even talk about like your start at all. Because to my knowledge, you pretty much were influenced through your father. You know, when it comes to him playing music on the radio.
Yeah.
And is your father still here with us?
He is.
That's
That's a
beautiful. On the real.
Alive and well. Listen, he called me first thing in the morning, and I said morning. He called me in the afternoon. He called me in the evening. And I said, my daddy from Mississippi, and he checked on his baby girl all day. He literally on the way here said, watch your back. Make sure you watch your surroundings. All right, you ain't never been to that building before. Make sure you know where you at.
You sure you from Mississippi?
Well, he been living in Chicago since the
Gotcha.
late 60s.
Okay,
Oh, so
cool.
he done been through. He done seen the city.
He taught at Calumet High School, Sherns High School. Yeah, he done taught at Hyde Park. He taught at a few high schools, but he ended at Sherns. He's a retired school teacher here in Chicago. So yeah, my daddy been around.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
dope to know that, you know, you have a supportive backbone too with the family. And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something about radio, like knowing that, you know, you were introduced to music through the radio.
Yeah.
For you, you know, because the conversation is always a conversation about, hey, people don't listen to radio no more, radio doing this and radio doing that. And,
Right.
But personally, from your aspect, do you feel radio is still impactful?
I do. I believe radio is impactful right now. Every type of radio is impactful, but I do believe indubitably that radio in its original form is one of the best things because you're still getting music curated that you don't control. You're waiting to see what the world is saying. So Chicago, to me, one of the biggest radio towns, right? And then in this town, what we don't realize is the second largest consumer market in the world. And in that, it was also the second largest market for radio. So you got Chicago controlling how people spend money, how people listen to music. Excuse me 1 second. Let me hit in on a phone call. Okay. How people gather their information on what they buy, what they hear, what they give, what they want, what's popular, what's not popular. This being the second largest market for that. The only other city that beats us is Tokyo. They are #1 consumer market.
Wow.
Chicago's #2 in the world.
learn something new
So
every
for me, radio is very important. TV, regular TV is very important.
Broadcast in
You
general,
ain't even
yeah.
gotta have cable. Put your public antenna on a TV and you got all of those channels. You got like 60 channels with no cable. And people are watching that too. You gotta go for the fact that during the quarantine, radio and TV shot up by 470%.
It's dope that you know this info.
You gotta know your markets.
That's true.
You gotta know
is
what you're dealing with. You gotta know, I mean, they say study. If you don't study, what you working on?
Yeah.
A lawyer study every day. A doctor study every day. It's the practice of law, the practice of medicine. It's the practice of music.
Student of the game.
It's the business. That's why they call it the music business.
business.
You got to learn what's new, what's going on. Who knew vinyl records was going to outsell CDs one day? Man. Who knew cassette tapes was now going to come back and be competing with vinyl records? Man. Now most of the money artists make is through vinyl records and cassettes.
Yep, through the merch.
Who knew that was going to happen?
Man.
Okay, while you signing a 360 deal and the label taking all your money, the independent artist,
Holla, hey.
we decide when we perform. We decide when we sell product. We decide when we get something or give something. And so for me, knowing those details is the most important detail.
We finna get into some more details after this
Man,
music break.
I just went to
Look,
school.
Look, hey,
Crash course right there.
love it. And I think you may know this person. He goes by the name of Jay Ivy, right?
Yes, I think I know him. He's cute.
He real cute. Y'all talked about each other on Someday too. I know about.
Yes.
But I got a joint off his.
Oh, the song Someday.
Yes, the song Someday. Yes,
I love it.
Y'all went into some details.
Yes, we did.
This song is actually off his Grammy-winning album, spoken word album at that, in this new category that was helped created by this brother.
Yes.
It's called Running. It features John Legend, in which he gave the name to.
Yes, he did.
It was John Steffens, and Jay was like, "Nah, you should be John Legend."
Yeah.
And it also features Slick Rick the Ruler.
Yes, it does.
He coming right back
Don't
after
forget
this drop.
Verse and
Verse
and
is
Excel
on here too.
Excel on the production. That's
Look,
right.
y'all enjoy it. We coming right back after this break. It's iLLANOiZE Radio.
I keep on running, but my
Yo, what's up? It's your girl, Pretty Riot, and I need you to do one sminy. Yo, what's up? It's your girl, Pretty Riot, and I just need you to do one small favor for me. Head on over to your app store, search iLLANOiZE. Hit the first thing that pops up, because we the one and only, and download the iLLANOiZE app.
I keep on running, but my feet don't get tired.
That was Running from Jay Ivy, John Legend, Verse, Slick Rick the Ruler. Who else? Come on.
Verse.
You got Excel on the track.
There we go.
You got J.I.B. on the first verse. You got Verse on the second verse. You got Slick Rick the Ruler, who I am the lead singer for, on the third verse, and the closeout exit.
Man, classic.
And it's
right
the first
there.
time in the world that that Rick put out poetry. He's a poet, but it's the first time he did poetry publicly.
Who motivated this brother? Oh, you got the smile on your. So okay. Well, hold up, man.
How that conversation happen?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Y'all got Slick.
Slick doing poetry.
Y'all
you hear
slick.
It. He said to you hear it, we must maintain a moral compass. Now Rick is ready to teach us. He's ready to give us more. It ain't just the parts of us that we know in rap and hip hop. He's got house records out. He got a whole album coming out. I don't really want to even announce his announcement. I'm sure he gonna make his announcement, but he got a whole album coming out soon with a major artist that it's just, come on with the clap. Come on, standing up. Yeah, but my big brother Slick Rick the Ruler is doing it, and he didn't get that Lifetime Achievement Award for no reason this year from the Grammys. He got it because he really deserved it, because he's the most sampled artist in the history of hip hop.
Wow.
He's the one that taught us to tell stories in rap. There are so many reasons why we need to pay attention to people like Rick. He's been through trials and tribulations, and he's still kicking up dust.
Still going.
He's still the smoke on this man's heels when he ready to get something done is pretty amazing. And he's an amazing human being.
He the reason why all these rappers with all this jury anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
but
That is true.
but if you look at it like, we look at it from a space where we don't realize Rick is doing it from a tribal space.
Yeah.
Africans, the kings. You knew if a king, how important you were in a village, and an African village was based on
gold,
the amount of jewelry you had, the amount of crown. The taller your crown, the longer your necklaces, the deeper your gems. So Rick, for us, we do it in the hood all day. We don't even realize our mannerisms is from Africa. We just do it because we think it's hood. It ain't hood, baby. It's African.
That's history.
And I was gonna jump into the Grammys, but I gotta jump into Ghana because earlier this year, Chance the Rapper, Vic Mensa put together Black Star Line Festival out in Accra, Ghana.
Yes, he did.
That's why I bumped into you and Jay.
Right. That's right.
And was that your first time out in Africa?
It was my first time in
Or
Ghana.
Ghana?
No, I had been to Africa, to the continent. I've been to the continent of Ethiopia, which they renamed Africa, twice to two other countries. I've been to Rwanda and to Uganda. And the first time I went, we were building a school in Rwanda, helping to paint a playground. And then, of course, we did a performance out there, Jay and I, with a group of other artists. And so we had an opportunity to perform in Rwanda. And then we went to another place, a Black-owned resort in Africa, or African-owned resort, or melanated-owned, facility that is one of the most luxurious resorts I've ever been to. But it's the the second deepest lake in the world. And it's called Lake Binyoni. So y'all go check this out. Find this. I'm gonna remember the name, and then maybe y'all can give it to y'all audience.
It's gonna put it all in the write-up too.
Yeah. But at Lake Binyoni, you can get this black-owned resort. You go there. It's got 21 islands on it in the lake, and you can go on a cruise in the lake,
in the lake.
It's like 3 times, maybe 5 times bigger than Lake Michigan.
Wow.
And there's so many like stories. I don't want to ruin for y'all, but they were saying how the earth kind of sank in that lake because it was like some type of earthquake. Anyway, and the earthquake turned the earth upside down, and so now they have these cliffs and mountains around the lake. And these islands, it's just gorgeous. But when I looked out, it was the most breathtaking view I ever had. We went from there into the city of, we went into Uganda, into their capital city. And Uganda was, we went to a comedy show, and we went and took a tour of the city and had so much fun. And then we got kicked out the country with all the other people that weren't from there, because at the time they were going through some civil war. I don't know if y'all remember the time when y'all seen people standing on tables and chairs, and they was on CNN. They was kicking each other butt in Parliament.
So y'all kind of had to disperse.
Oh, yeah,
They sent us a text because they knew we were U.S. citizens. And they were like, leave now. Your flight has been arranged.
Oh, that's love.
We only had 2 more days.
But yeah.
But they was like, you got to go.
Yeah, it's time for y'all to go right now.
Yeah, go get your bags.
Like
your driver's waiting at your hotel.
for you to be at a cry for the Black Star Line Festival.
Yes.
Did you feel any difference in like environment or atmospheric space? Like, did you feel any difference in the mood being back in Africa around that time?
Being back in Africa, yeah, because being back home, because they call it the return. Going back to Ghana, well, the first thing was everybody in Ghana looked like my cousins here in Chicago. It's the bone structure. Everything was like flat out, just, okay, I know you. You look like my Auntie B. You look like my cousin Maine. You know, like these people look like us. They feel like us. They act like us. The whole being back home, being in Ghana for that festival, but in addition to go see, you know, these enslavement camps where they kidnapped us. I refuse to call them castles because okay, y'all call them castles if y'all want to, but they are concentration camps. And being back there, it really opened my spirit up to understanding how many ways we need to reconnect to the continent, how many ways we need to go back, how many times because they'll tell you one thing about Africa and tell Africa one thing about Americans, Black Americans, and then have us kind of, you know, bumping heads and not really understanding the visual that we have of each other. Because
it seems like it's a thing of them not liking us and us not liking them.
Right.
It's always that stigma that you hear.
Yeah, even on top of that, they'll show you the pictures on TV.
The starving kids.
The starving kids with the flies, you know, and the people that can't, you know, they ain't getting food. I mean, this country is rich and people are healthier, and ain't no such thing as the organic section of the store. It's just organic food.
Yep.
You know,
absolutely
ain't no
right.
chemicals in the food. The food is so good. Just getting a pot of black-eyed peas over there was like a pot of gold. It was like a gift. And so for being over there, it was deeper than the music for me. It felt like I was going home to rediscover spaces that I had already been. My soul had already traveled.
This is really random. Did you walk around Africa barefoot? Like not walk around, but did you let your feet touch African soil?
I did on the beach.
Okay.
So there is we went to a private island called Treasure Island, a Black-owned island, and that was New Year's Eve. And we had this. It was they really did it up. They did a big dinner and they had a performance, and it was a resort, Black-owned again. Treasure Island, y'all. When y'all go to Ghana, go to Treasure Island. But the other thing was, they had these beaches, and we went to watch the sunrise. And I went out, and we put our feet in the sand. And
I feel like that's so important. When Biko went, I told him he needs to do that. I'm like, I've never even been to Africa just yet, but you need to go put your feet on that soil.
It does. It's very important. If you don't put your feet, I mean, even in Rwanda, I put my feet on the soil. In Uganda, I made it a point to put my feet in the soil.
To have everybody from Chicago and Ghana, like all the creators. What was that like seeing like, damn, G, we in Africa, folks?
Man, the joy on people's faces. Just our everyday Chicago folk.
Right.
Just seeing their faces in Ghana made them new to me. Because I would look over and it was like a different level of happiness I hadn't seen on their faces, and they looked comfortable and peaceful. And when you see people that just feel like they just relax for no reason, that's a different kind of
type of peace.
Yeah, that's a different type of peace. You're there. You're not in danger. You're not feeling like somebody. I mean, I think their deepest crime is pickpocketing. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like little petty. Yeah,
it's
like
not
little,
bang bang shoot them up.
I don't even know if they have guns like out there besides the
they
military.
got
I'm
guns.
talking about like besides like the military and the police.
Yeah, the
but
police.
the pedestrians, like the actual residents, I don't really see.
I got pulled over by the police while I was there. So, yeah, in Ghana.
You speed?
No. So I wasn't driving. It was the Uber driver. But they would pull the Uber driver over and search the passengers. So it was just me and another young lady. I had just left my husband at one location. I said, I'm tired. I'm going back to the hotel. He's like, all right, call me when you get there. I had to call him and say, hey, the police just pulled us over. So they asking us for papers, and they like, how long you going to be here? What's your point for being here? Are you inebriated? They want to know what we did for the night, where we planned on going for the rest of the night. But when they pulled us over, if I get pulled over here in Chicago, my stomach is upside down. I feel sick to my stomach. I can't breathe. Yeah, it's like a nervousness, just a sickness that I feel. But over there, when the black man pulled me over, when an African man pulled me over, I knew I could just look at him. I was like, hey, brother, I was like, we just here to enjoy ourselves and to learn more about the country. And we're having a beautiful time. Thank you for pulling us over. Is there anything I can do to make you get all the information? It was so polite. It was so blessed. It was just like peaceful. And then he was just like, be safe. You know, when you go to the hotel, make sure you get into your room safe. He was checking on me almost.
Oh, so he was actually serving and protecting.
Yeah, serving and protecting.
They were actually serving and protecting. And I remember getting back in the Uber going, that was different.
A whole completely different experience.
But when even getting out the car, I didn't feel nothing. I just got on like, hey, how you doing? He's like, step out of the car. I was like, hey, okay. All right. But the step out of the car was different. It was, please get out the car. It was no aggression. It was just beautiful.
You know it's different when you said, thank you for pulling me over.
Yeah.
Never
Thank
heard
you
that
for
like
checking
that
on
before.
us.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. When I said it, he looked at me like, oh, thank you for checking on us. I see. Sister. Okay, sister.
Make sure to check out the iLLANOiZE playlist in which we provide you with the latest tracks we play live on our show. Head over to Spotify and search iLLANOiZE Radio to follow our playlist, as well as follow our podcast. Now let's get back to the show. We've been talking about a lot of great things from the beginning of your career. We talked about your time in Ghana. We talked about radio.
Yes.
The
Apollo. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's so much history. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of history, you know, you, Jay Ivy, you all create history once again, because you all receiving a recent Grammy. That, to my knowledge, that's not the first Grammy that you all have received.
So it's not the first Grammy acknowledgement that we received. With the Grammys, there's a specific language if you are a part of a Grammy-winning album. So we both are a part of two other Grammy-winning albums, which is the Kanye West is a College Dropout, and I have Grammy certification for that album. I have Grammy certification on John Legend's album Get Lifted.
And now you have Grammy.
And now I have a Grammy award.
Hold on. Give us some horns, bro. That's a bomb. Hey, she just named some albums right there. You hear me?
Give us some more.
Some albums that push the culture. You heard me?
They definitely push the culture.
And now you got that shiny trophy.
Yeah.
Sitting on you got it, right?
It's on the way.
Y'all brought poetry back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, the poetry community to me, when Jay and I first met, I was the door girl at a poetry spot, and I used to collect the money. Because I love poetry, but I also that was here in Chicago, and the place was called Rituals. It was run by a guy named Corey Walden. But Jay was the host. He was the host with the most. Literally, indubitably, one of the best hosts I've ever seen touch a poetry set. And he united an entire poetry community here in Chicago. And anybody visited Chicago, that's the set they would come to. So that was the door I worked for 2 years.
Did you all know each other beforehand, or you formally met like working the door there?
Well, we formally met the first night I sang. So it was the night I quit my job. I walked out of my job and was like, I can't do this no more. I knew what my passion was, and I was like, I'm about to go for it. I walked out, went and found a band downtown Chicago, and I asked the band leader, could I sing? I was like, can I just get on the mic? He was like, no. He said, have you ever done this before? I said, no. He said, well, go do it somewhere else and come back. I was like, no, I want to get on your stage tonight. And I harassed this man. That's the only word I can use, but I got in his face. I kept going back. I offered him a drink. I was like, can I go get you some food? Do you need an appetizer? He said, ma'am. He said, what do you want to do? I said, just give me one song. He said, what for? I said, because I know that I'm the lead singer of your band. You need me. Ooh. And he was like, oh, man. He's like, all right, I'm going to let you get the last song of the night. Then I got nervous. And Jay was walking past, and I stopped him. I was like, excuse me. I need to concentrate on one person. Can you sit in this chair at the front of the room? You see that one right there. I was like, can you sit there and let me sing my first song that to you? Like,
oh, no, wow, I'm blushing.
This is a love story. This is a love story right here. And I just was like, oh my God, this is so adorable. Oh, this is cute.
Or the most gangster thing.
That too. It's that too. Like, hey, listen here. Sit right here.
Sit down.
I was
let
like,
me sing to
I
you.
pointed at the chair. I was like, I need you to sit right there, because if you sit there, then I can just look at you and get through my song. He was cute. And I knew he knew the same person I knew, the guy that ran the poetry reading, Corey Walden. And anyway, so Corey had told me he was working with Jay. And at the time, we hadn't met formally. And that was my formal. Well, it wasn't really formal. It was just me asking him to stay. He was on his way out. And I was like, please stay just the one song. He was like, really? He said, you ain't never sang before in public? I was like, no, this will be my first night.
Wow.
And he was like, cool.
Fellas, y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Go to the open mics. You'll find your wife at the open mics. Fellas, go to the open mics.
And, you know, it's interesting to hear you say that too, because we all know Jay good with the words.
He good.
You know?
He's more than good.
But
Yeah.
it's like you came at him like, no, sit right here, brother. I need your help. That's
I made a strong request, and he did oblige my request. And then at the end, he offered me his beeper number. Now I'm gonna date us a little bit. He gave me his beeper, and I told him my daddy told me that I do not page men, so please do not give me a beeper number. And I was like, when you get a number that you have the liberty of passing on to me that is not a pager, then we can speak by phone.
oh,
Okay.
Now that's gang.
it ain't no paging me.
That's gangster right now. That's gangster.
Don't
Yeah.
pay. I don't page
That's
men.
that gangster love. That's what we gonna call
Then we got
that.
2 ways. I was like, I'll beam you though. I'll beam you, baby. Did y'all have codes when y'all had pagers? I had mine was 220.
I always
Look.
wanted a pager.
Look,
I
I
was
was
gonna say
too
that's
young to
a
have a
little before
pager.
my
Yeah.
time. I ain't gonna
I
lie.
was
My
too
mama
young
had a
for a
pager,
pager.
and
Yeah, yeah.
when I was a kid, I used to
Yeah,
walk
yeah.
around with it on
Yeah,
my
yeah.
hip like
Yeah, yeah.
I was doing something, but it didn't work.
My code on the pager was 220.
220.
Second to none. So Jay knew when I hit 220, that meant call me right away. It was like
Ooh.
my 911.
Oh, that's
Everybody
cute.
used the code.
Took us
Dang,
back to
I ain't
the
never- I ain't
Took
never-
pagers.
You remember you could talk in numbers on the pages if you turn the numbers a certain way.
yeah, and you turn.
You
Well,
can
we
say
did-
hello.
well, we see them on our
Right.
calculators in school. I'm a little under there.
Nah, you all right. We gonna bring you back.
Appreciate
We gonna
it.
bring pages back.
So I gotta ask you though. You know, like
This text message life.
when you and Jay both being musically inclined,
Yes.
both taking part in the music business.
Yes.
Me, I like for my significant other to be opposite of what I do, because sometimes it can be a little head bumping.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do you all actually like balance love and music business?
You know what? Me and Jay are actually very opposite. Jay is poetry. He's hip hop. He's hip hop's favorite poet. He is the lyricist in the family. He is the guy that writes 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day. He wake up out of his sleep with a pen and a notebook
Like he
next to
just
the bed.
dreamed about
He
the-
dreams his poems sometimes, and he wakes up out of his sleep writing them. Me, I'm more like the vacuum girl. And maybe if I'm vacuuming or I'm washing dishes or something,
Oh, yeah.
that's how I write. So we are very opposite. He's this side of the music. I'm R&B, soul music, also house as well. And in those two separate categories, also we have different personalities. Our dispositions are completely different. Whereas he's very, very creative all day long, and I am probably 75% business, 25 creative during a regular work week.
Balancing each other
because
out.
we run a business together, we run a company together that we founded together, and so I run the executive administrative services and the business exploration for us, and he does the other things, the networking and the pulling together.
Mentioning the company name.
The company's called Word and Soul.
There we go.
Yeah, we actually put that together because of course there's Word and there's Soul, and what the company, we got some big visions for the company, and it's our record label. It's how we process our business. So it's out there.
And that's interesting to learn. Like that's how you do that, because it's beautiful to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's a small family operation.
Yeah, it is. But y'all get it done.
Yeah, we have
sometimes
to.
you don't need a whole bunch of people to get the job done.
You don't. A lot of people don't know that. Like artists, they always run around. You know, maybe you got one song that you sing and it ain't even your song. You talking about I need a manager. You do not need a manager for one song. You do not need a manager if you only doing one show a week and you're not making a living off of it. We need managers, but you may want a manager, but you don't need a manager. So I know that was unsolicited advice.
No, they
Not
need
really.
that. They need that. That was a
need that.
gem.
Please stop running around looking for a manager if you're not making a living off of
If
your
there's
music.
nothing to manage it.
Yeah, you can manage it up to a certain point when there is something to manage too. Take it as far as you can take it and build with somebody and bring a manager in.
See, I'm happy you shared that.
And then
'cause
I'll
I need to
also
hear
share what you do need is a lawyer
that.
and somebody that helps you with marketing.
Yes.
Okay.
And
maybe some booking.
And some
booking.
some finance
You
work,
just
some budget.
outsource the pieces. You need a graphics artist. You just outsource, but you do not always need a manager. You could think for yourself. You could do it. You can do it.
You can do it.
Earlier, I want to bring it back because earlier we wasn't on air, and you mentioned Soldiers at War, and you was mentioning being out slanging CDs and hustling. I want to know, because that's a time era where Chicago was not really known for rap music. Everybody was just seeing like, okay, we could do something with it. It wasn't as popular as it is now.
Yeah.
What's something about the music industry here that you saw change over the years that you be like, damn, this is crazy. My city, because I know you see it everywhere you go. My city's running this shit like heavy.
Yeah. You know, Chicago to me quietly has been the mother space for music. It had the first record label, the first recording studios. Everything back in the day started here. Even Soul Train started in Chicago and moved to Hollywood. So all the mannerisms and the way we ingest music and absorb it or push it out into the world was a Chicago style pushing. What people don't realize is Chicago had been designing the way people operated in Hollywood for years. How are we starting things and then giving it away? That's what a consumer market do, that we talked about earlier. Second largest consumer market, the people that spend and give away, never bring it back in. So what I saw change was that, I want to reflect on something you said, was I was out selling CDs on the street. That's how I made my living. When I decided to be a full-time singer, I literally was like, I told my mom and dad, they said, but you're supposed to be going to law school. You got accepted. I said, yeah, I know. But I think I'm just going to go be a singer. And they were like, but singers are broke. I said, but this one not going to be.
Period.
I said, so I said, y'all raised me to be an entrepreneur. Watch how I do this. And my dad said, so you gonna make more than a lawyer? I said, I'm gonna make more than a lawyer, a doctor, and the president of the United States. And he said, okay, you are my child. Go ahead. My mama said, yeah, that's the one we ain't worried about. Out of all my siblings, but they not worried about none of my siblings. All my siblings are doing really well, which is a blessing.
Right, but this one we just gonna let her
They
do
don't.
her.
They like, just leave her alone. When she say she gonna do something, she gonna do it.
Right.
But so I was selling CDs, and I'll just describe for a second. I would set a table up at a Harold's Chicken, and I would put a tablecloth over it, or Kenny's ribs and chicken. You know?
Yeah, you unlocked my childhood with that one.
Or even I would go to a barbershop, because barbershops are really busy on Saturdays and Fridays and Sundays. So anyway, I put the tablecloth over the table, and I had a CD player on this side, a CD player there, and a CD in the middle. And I had listening apparatuses, which are what we call AKA headphones.
She made it sound so like, whoa.
And I had a jar of wine candy sitting. Y'all know what wine candy is, right? Jolly Ranchers, right?
Yeah.
So you had the Jolly Ranchers bowl here, and I had a jar of peppermint here, and so people would be attracted to the table because it was summer. I had some fresh flowers sitting at the end of the table and over here, or I would put one in the center. And then I had a sign at the bottom that said "Your new favorite music."
Oh.
Okay, so my mom was an embroidery. Her and my dad owned an embroidery. That's their retirement business. So they embroidered me a tablecloth that said Tarrey Torae's music. So anyway, it was this velvet. So anyway, it was up here. They would let me do this, and I would sell CDs for 12 hours a day, and I would sell out by the end of the week. I'd have about 700 CDs, and I would be out by the end of the week.
Damn.
Wow.
And I would just move from location to location to location.
So that means you
the
a good
soldiers
sales-
at war.
Right.
And
That
that
mean-
what? Go ahead.
That just means you're a good saleswoman.
Yeah.
man.
I don't know if sales is one thing, or if I'm
Market.
really excited about educating people about what they might want to add to their music collection. How I might need to give you something that you didn't know you was missing. It's not really sales. That's what people got to learn about sales. If you sell me something, I'm running. I don't want to be sold to.
I don't want to be sold to.
I don't want to be sold to. But if I can give you something that you didn't know you were missing, if I can educate you, we moving on.
And I'm thinking like you were doing. It wasn't no Cash App.
No.
Wasn't no Zelle.
cash.
It was cash
It
only.
was cash, and I was taking checks.
What?
I would take people checks. I sure would.
And
People wrote me
damn.
checks. They would write checks down. Some people would say to me, you know what? I'm going to take the CD, but I'm going to come back next week with your cash. Sure, because it's the honor system for me. We got to trust our people. And I would trust them. I would be like, okay, I'll see you next week. And people brought me, not only did they bring the money back, but they would say, give me 2 more or give me 5 more. I'm going to get these to my cousins. I'm going to get these to my coworkers.
Because I don't want them to steal mine.
Yeah. Oh, right. One lady came back. She said somebody stole her CD. She said it was sitting in my car, and she said I was dropping people off that day. Somebody took my CD. She said I'm playing the CD for them, and then next thing I know, the whole CD gone. I said, oh.
She said them heifers.
Yeah, took her CD. So she came back and got another 2. She said one going in my car and one going in my house. I said, all right.
See,
And that was the Musically Yours.
That's what I was just for to say. We talk about your debut album, which is music, because I could not find it, and now I know why.
It was only a street album.
Man, whoever out there got it, y'all got it. Y'all got some gold.
You have a collector's item.
Yeah.
Hey,
you
hey,
do.
send us
Like,
the MP3s.
Let me borrow it.
Let us borrow it. Let me burn that CD. Let me burn that CD.
Burn it. We'll
Yeah,
give it back.
that album came together very. So what happened when I started singing? I started January. By May, I had a friend of mine, because I used to work in the community. Like, I would do politics and union organizing and political campaign work. And they were going on a 55-city tour for voter registration. And they called me. It's like, we want you to run a tour for us and go out and get people to vote. I was like, yeah, that could work, but we need to bargain on how this is going to work. I was like, what I need you to do is understand my career have changed. And now that I'm a singer full time, I don't mind running your campaign out there for people to do voter registration, but I also need you to let me be the opening act of the tour. So they did that. And then when I got to the studio, the guy said, you need an album. You can't go on tour with no album. And within 30 days, I had an album.
To make a debut album in 30 days
Within less than 6 months of my career.
You cold.
and sell it out.
And 55-city tour with Coca-Cola.
You cold.
I don't know about cold, but I'm determined.
You were coldly determined. Damn.
Very determined.
And like since that album, how many albums have you put out since then?
Well, in combination with other people that I've executive
Just
produced.
like, okay, that too.
Well, the solo albums, we've got Musically Yours, a street album that nobody got unless you got it. Then we have The Sweetest Survivor, which is my really my first full studio album that I did professionally, like packaged and did everything that you're supposed to do in the industry. And then the next one right now is Catching Feelings. Now, in between there's another street album nobody knows about that Jay and I wrote for our wedding.
Oh, wait.
It's called For Better or Worse.
Okay, I thought it was something with y'all name together. Like y'all
We tried. Yeah, we tried the group. We had to break up. The group didn't make it. It was either Jay, Ivy, and Tarrey Torae or the group, and I don't want to say the name because I don't know nobody be starting calling us that. It's very catchy, and we didn't like it. So
I think I know what it is.
Don't do it.
I want to know.
Don't do it.
I want to know.
I tell you off air, off the record. But yeah, so that's what we did. So those are the albums. But then also in between all of that, Jay and I have been producing. We did some mixtapes. We also did his album for his first book that was published through Simon & Schuster, Beyond Words, which is called Dear Father. And there's an audio book album to that, but it was really a poetry album. And then we also did the audio book separate from the album. Then we also produced a record for him. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 records for him.
I want to ask you this before I get into the album. Have you ever thought about using Autotune?
I'm not against Autotune, but I don't believe indubitably that I need it.
You're damn right.
I know I've used that word a little
I love that word.
Indubitably.
No,
I think it's an art form to Autotune. The people that use it, that can really use it, they use it really well. I don't believe my voice
needs it.
It doesn't need it, nor do I want it for myself. But the art form of it is specific to the people that actually have an appreciation for it. I don't. Mm-hmm. I think I like it on other people. Mm-hmm. So T-Pain have you heard him sing without it?
Yeah, without it, yes.
He's completely amazing.
Yep.
So it's like a woman with makeup. You shouldn't need makeup. If you need the makeup to go outside.
Good ass analogy.
Listen, this is my homie right here.
That's my thing with Autotune. You should not need it. Being an artist, if you need a machine to make you sound a certain way, and if you take the machine off and we mad, I'm thinking maybe you probably should try something else. Different career.
I like to say music is not your ministry.
I would like to offer you some advice to keep it moving. That's my thing.
You official my cousin. You my cousin.
We first cousins, right?
On my daddy's side.
You got to call me T-Baby.
Say less.
T-Baby.
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 And
Please say the baby.
I brought up the Auto-Tune because, hearing you don't need it at all.
You don't need it, but this like I said, like makeup. If you need it, let's move on. So for me, that's my philosophy about Autotune. Autotune is an essential thing that you can add to enhance the beauty of what you're doing, but you shouldn't have to have it.
And
not as an artist.
You don't need it. Your voice is pure.
Me listening to your album, would you ever? Was that live band?
Yes. The album is all live. We replayed all the parts.
Okay.
So we would get a track. Like if I like the track, we would take that track. There's certain nuances in it that we kept for sound effects. But the bass, the drum, the guitar, the sax, the violin, the piano played live.
Okay.
Because if the track had something in it that kind of seemed like it, we just went and woke it up.
Okay.
With the real thing and then removed that part of the track. Because the live for me,
makes you feel the music. When you're listening to it, the combination of the instruments plus the vocals, it really make you feel the song. Like that's the emotion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think about a Patti LaBelle, or if you think about a Sarah Vaughan, or if you think about a Dinah Washington, or a Tina Marie, or Luther Vandross, they were in studios with full orchestras and bands, and they had one time to get it right, because that when they were recording,
it would cost.
That was tape.
Yeah, that's tape.
You run that tape, ain't no going back, deleting that part out, Pro Tooling it over here, creating a new line. You can't add. They call me a track hog. Jay, that was Jay's personal nickname for me in the studio. He said track hog, because I like a lot of tracks. I go in and I layer stuff and my harmonies and all that. But if you cannot, so what do I want to say here? I want to be respectful.
You can get a little disrespectful of you. You get a little distasteful.
Because it's love, all the way through. But for me, the most important part was the live, the vibration that it gives to the world. And I think I didn't want to miss that. If I don't like the record, if it ain't completely coming through for me, I'm not putting it out.
Now, before I get into a track off of Catching Feelings, like what type of feelings did you catch putting this project together?
It's a full description of how I feel about my love, about my life. It's actually a self-love album, too. So it's not just some romantic, it's not fluffy, because I'm talking about some real stuff in the records. Yeah. I caught feelings, for sure. I had already caught them. And then the product of catching those feelings was me describing those feelings, and that's what the record was. But also, like I said, it's a self-love record, too, because the way I use So Beautiful, 2 different ways. You saw in the live show, I talk about, how you're supposed to have this level of self-esteem and this beauty that, Black women aren't afforded all the time. We are not always the first chosen. We are not always told that we are the most beautiful, even though the whole world imitating us. From the lips to the butt to the curves. For the melanated, getting a tan, everything is what a Black woman brings to the table. We are the standard, even the way we speak, even the way we, pronounce
mannerisms, everything
is being imitated and redirected, or like they say in the record business, interpolations are all over the place of us. And so for me, that's what So Beautiful was. And then it folds into, I don't really believe you can love anybody if you don't love yourself.
No, that's very true.
People running around here talking about he don't make me happy, she don't make me happy. Well, first of all, that wasn't their job. They were only supposed to enhance the happiness you already had. And that's what catching feelings is. You can't catch feelings unless you really had them for yourself in the first place.
That was damn near poetry. Can I
snap and I'm going to clap.
Yeah, let's clap for poetry.
You hear the love throughout the album. You hear it. You hear it, and then you can also feel the mental state that you're in. Like you feel it, you hear it, and it's like I said, it's a beautiful project. And you pretty much broke down the title album and all that.
Thank
you know what I'm saying?
Thank you. There's a beautiful motivation behind it. A person. There's this guy that motivated me a lot in some of them songs. He's a nice guy. If you Google him, his name's Jay Ivy.
Okay.
Jay Ivy, and if you Google him, he's very handsome, well dressed guy, kind of prim and proper in the mirror. He do his thing.
Matter of fact, let me see the album cover. Let me see the album cover.
But his voice is. I
gotta say this because I said this a couple weeks ago.
Catching dreams.
This is the first nigga in Chicago to have his foot out.
That's
his feet
right.
out on the beach.
Yeah.
Album cover.
Yeah.
You gotta show people.
Wait, look, I'm gonna show y'all something. Now that you point that out, he on the beach, right, staring out into the ocean.
Yep.
But if you look on my album cover,
you in the ocean.
I'm sitting in the ocean. So he looking at you. Hey, that's low-key that's genius ass marketing. I love it. It's a power couple, official power couple of the year. We didn't do that on purpose.
That's a bar.
No,
that's a bar. We need both of the album covers up here. So we
can put them side by side.
Whoa.
But check it out though. We didn't do that on purpose. He did this photo shoot and he came up with this, and he had a different cover, and I actually went through his pictures and I chose this picture. I was like, no, he had a different picture, and because he wasn't even facing you couldn't even see his face. And I was like, no, we need this picture. We want to see you, the purest form of you. And this, he went with my suggestion on the picture, and then the rest of this was designed by a graphic person, right? With mine, I woke up out of my sleep. Now I do have visions. So I woke up out of my sleep and I told Jay, because I get really stressed about clothes and makeup and hair, and I was like, this is just so much, required.
As a woman,
I was like, yo, I don't think I want to have any of those issues on this album cover. I said, so when we do this, I think I want to be in somebody's ocean, and I want to just have my regular everyday ponytail and the sun on my face. And that's what we did. Damn. And Jay took the picture.
Damn. Oh, damn, he cold.
Beautiful.
Jay took the picture.
Before we go into break 2, I want to ask one more question. Both of y'all being in the industry.
Yes.
And the love y'all have. I feel the love from you just explaining. I could feel the love for him is strong.
Radiating.
How do y'all keep things like tight with y'all and don't get caught up in the industry?
Well, we made a promise to each other when we first got together. As a couple, we have a mission statement, I think a lot of couples need to deal with the fact that they need mission statements. They need to know what they're aiming at as a couple. And we agreed that the industry was not really for us as a unit. Now, in that, we also understand that there is a level of livelihood we got to make. So, in our mission statement, we worked around the purpose and ideology of what we thought marriage was and what we thought love was, and we put together how we wanted to move. So we do public service every month, or even more frequent than that. And we also make sure that within the industry, we're very careful about how we allow the industry to absorb us. We don't let everybody in our space. And that's part of our mission statement. If you don't know that this is going to make me proud, or our parents or our family, we don't do it.
I want to say this was like a loving conversation that we just had on air.
Being here with y'all.
Catching Feelings is out.
Yes.
So is the Catching Feelings artist box. I mean,
Yes.
where my candle at?
It's right here.
There's a candle right here.
Got my
Did
candle.
you smell it?
Yes, I did.
How-
It smells
you did.
great.
What do you think? What do you think of as a man? Because
re-smell
it's a man scent. It's catching feelings for him.
Ooh.
Catching feelings.
Do
for
you
her.
got cologne?
Listen, we gonna get to
It
that.
smells
cologne.
really, and it's 2-wick too. No, I like this, y'all. Look, and I love candles. If y'all
Can I
didn't
smell
know,
it?
yes, you can. Just make sure you give it back. But the Catching Feelings artist box is out. I mean, you're gonna get a candle, you're gonna get some body butter, you're gonna get some wine glasses, you're gonna get a velvety travel bag. Feels really good.
How can I order this? How
Yeah.
can I order it?
It's on my website, tarreytorae.com/shop. If you just go to tarreytorae.com and click on the shop button, you'll see it there, or go to my Instagram and click the link. Any of my social media pages will have it there. And that artist box helps me continue my path and my journey.
Yes.
So please participate. Thank you for your love and support. I love all y'all for getting it. Thank
Hey.
you very much. And please tell a friend to tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
Music is magical, and sometimes you need all of the pieces to make it an experience. So this is where we at.